Alright, what's up guys? I am very excited to bring you a brand new Blue Eyes combo video. I haven't done one of these in a very long time, mostly because Guard Dragon LP got hit and that really killed a lot of the Blue Eyes combo potential. But I've been messing around with a lot of different builds of Blue Eyes, and I think I finally have something that is really cool. Like I'm very excited to bring you guys this. In addition to that, obviously we have Crossout Designator now. It's very good against it's very good at protecting combo decks. We also have one Called by the Grave, and then we have the Sky Striker spell that basically makes your extra deck monster unaffected, which will come up in these combos that I will show you. But the combos that I have today are actually built around this card, the Mausoleum of the White. I'm just going to activate it now. Basically, this is the Blue Eyes Field spell. It's actually kind of, it's always been a really good card. Like, I've always thought this was a really good card on paper. It just has never been good in practice. But I think I finally kind of cracked the code, and I think I finally made this card more than usable. So basically what this card does is it has four pretty good effects. Probably two broken ones and two pretty good ones. So basically what it gives you is on number one, effect number one is it's actually a double normal summon of light tuners. Light level 1 tuners, so basically Sage and Maiden and Master and all of the stones. It basically gives you a double summon of all of those monsters. It gives you an extra normal summon. So that already is like a really good card. I mean, it has a built-in, it's a field spell that has a built-in double summon. The second effect is that you can target a monster on your side of the field, send a normal monster to the graveyard, and then your monster gains attack times 100 times the levels of the monster. So basically it will always gain 800 attack because you can send a normal Blue Eyes. So it's also a Foolish Burial for normal Blue Eyes, and it targets Maiden. So already it has Foolish Burial and double summon built in. And it has, basically, it makes your monster gain 800 attack. I don't know off the top of my head what card makes your monster gain 800 attack, but it has that built into it. But that actually does help with certain OTKs, because you can target any monster on the field and make it 800 more. You can basically make your Numeron Dragon 800 more, and then you can basically almost always OTK, because it'll be 9,800. And then on top of that, you can banish this from the graveyard. And this isn't actually once per turn. You can banish this from the graveyard to search Burst Stream of Destruction, which is basically like the Blue Eyes built-in Raigeki. So going second, that effect is just really good, because you can send this to the graveyard with like a danger, and then banish it, and then search Burst Stream and just to blow up your opponent's entire board. So it has like a built-in Raigeki searcher. So overall, it has double summon, it makes you gain 800 attack, a Foolish Burial, targets Maiden, and on top of that, it searches Raigeki. It has like 5 really good effects on it. But I'm going to show you all different combos that you can do with this card. Right off the bat, we are going to have Sage in our hand. So all this combo requires is Mausoleum of the White and Sage with Eyes of Blue. We're going to normal summon the Sage, and we're going to use the Sage to search a monster. Any light tuner. We are actually going to search Master with Eyes of Blue. He is just as surprised to be here as anybody. We're going to search Master with Eyes of Blue. Now we can link away the Sage in order to special summon a Link Karibo, and we can extra normal summon the Master with Eyes of Blue. We're going to activate the effect of Master of Eyes of Blue. He's basically like Sage for graveyard effects. So we're going to activate it to add back our copy of Sage. Sage's second effect we have not used yet, and you can use both effects in one turn, and actually its first effect isn't even once per turn. So we're going to now have access to its second effect later on. We're going to activate the effect of Mausoleum. We're going to send Link Karibo to the grave. We're going to target Link Karibo just to send the Blue Eyes to the graveyard, and that'll actually become very important later. So now we can go into a copy of Needlefiber, link these two away, activate Needlefiber in order to special summon Deskbot 001. And now we can link away the Deskbot 001 and the Needlefiber to special summon a copy of Auradon. Now this is where your opponent will probably use like an Impermanence, for example. This is why some of those new cards that I mentioned, like the Sky Striker card, the Sky Striker card, and the Crossout Designator, and Call by the Grave and stuff, this is where they become important, because basically the Sky Striker card says if you only control a monster in your extra monster zone, you can target a monster you control and make it unaffected. So you can make it unaffected to Impermanence, stuff like that. But we're going to activate the Auradon on summon. On summon, it's going to allow us to special summon 3 tokens. And we're all locked out of link summoning for the rest of the turn, which isn't important because we're not going to link summon ever for the rest of our turn. We're going to activate the effect. Since two or more machines were special summoned simultaneously, we can special summon the Deskbot 001 from the graveyard. And now he's the level 1 tuner that we're going to basically abuse and keep recurring. We're going to use the Deskbot 001 to summon a Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight is basically a negate and a floodgate on one card. If our opponent activates a Monster Spell or Trap, we can tribute it and then negate that. And then on top of that, every card that's sent from the hand or from the deck to the graveyard gets banished instead. Like, it gets banished automatically. So that's really good because now our opponent is playing, like I said, under a floodgate and a negate. So that is negate number 1. Now we're going to activate the effect of Mecha Phantom Beast Auradon. We contribute two monsters in order to special summon a Mecha Phantom Beast monster from our deck. We're going to summon Coltwing. Coltwing, when he special summon, can special summon 2 tokens. So we're going to special summon 2 tokens right now. And we are going to activate the Deskbot 001 because it's not once per turn to special summon it back. So we have our level 1 tuner back again. Now we are going to use the Deskbot 001 to go into Power Tool Dragon. This play isn't totally necessary. You can actually cut the Power Tool engine. I think it's actually better with it, but you can cut it and then just make a second Herald of the Arclight here. So we're going to activate the effect of Power Tool Dragon. This allows us to reveal 3 equip spells and then add one of them to our hand. Living Fossil is usually the best one to add, but you can also use this one because you'll have more cards in your hand. You can all this card has to do is you have to discard to special summon the monster. You have to discard, and the levels have to be the monsters you're summoning. It has to be lower than the card that you're discarding, but that doesn't really matter because the monster that we're summoning is a level 1 monster, so it'll always be lower. And this actually summons from the banished, which we will in the full deck. We actually do have plenty of cards that are banished by this point because we were playing like Chaos Dragon, Levineer, and stuff like that. So having banished cards is actually fairly regular. But Living Fossil is usually just the best option because it's just a free special summon from the graveyard. So we're going to activate it, and we're going to target the Deskbot 001. It will get banished when it leaves the field, but literally that doesn't even matter at this point. We're going to special summon the Deskbot 001, level 1 tuner to summon the Power Tool Dragon. And we're going to activate that to special summon. We're going to activate the Borreload. We're going to summon Borreload, and then we're going to get the Crystron Needlefiber out of graveyard and attach it to the Borreload. So now it has basically 2 negates. Additionally, because we used a synchro monster and a tuner monster, we actually could have summoned Crystal Wing, which is one of my favorite monsters of all time. We had access to Crystal Wing here, which is pretty cool. So this is when the combo becomes really, really important. We're going to activate the effect of Sage. We're going to send an effect monster to the graveyard to special summon a Blue Eyes from our deck. We are going to special summon the Abyss. And Abyss has the ability, obviously, to search Polymerization or a Ritual spell if you wanted to. But this, like I said, if you had multiple Blue Eyes, it would be good because you can go into Alternative at this point. Or you can go into Twin. But I just wanted to show you that you could do this, but I don't actually play the Polymerization in the build. Next, we're going to activate the Graveyard effect of Master of the Eyes of Blue. Basically, this effect is he can send an effect monster to the graveyard to special summon a Blue Eyes from the graveyard, and then he shuffles himself back into the deck. So we're going to activate Master. We're going to send the Mecha Phantom Beast Coltwing to the graveyard, and we're going to special summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And now we can overlay these two into any number of level 8s. We can rank 8s. We can go into Photon, which is a monster negate. We can go into Hope Harbinger, which is a spell negate. And also it's a lightning rod, meaning your opponent has to attack it, so they can't just attack over Herald of the Arclight and get rid of one negate because you're forcing them to attack Hope Harbinger. Or we can go to Dragbludian, which is usually the best option anyway. And then we're going to activate that, detach a Blue Eyes White Dragon to special summon one of these two. Hard Earth is actually really good because it's really good against back row decks. Basically, this card can be destroyed by battle. And then on top of that, on top of not being able to be destroyed by battle during the end phase of your opponent's turn, you can detach a material and banish every single card that your opponent set or summon that turn. And then basically you can OTK the following turn, because if they don't out this, they basically lose. Very good against back row decks, obviously very good against trap card decks. And then also this Hope Harbinger Dragon, which just negates spells. He's usually generally the better one to go after because he will protect your other monsters. But also like that other one, the other monster is really good too. The Hard Earth is really good against, like I said, back row decks. So this is basically the board that we've been able to do off of 2 cards. We have a spell negate. We have a negate of anything you want. This also could have been a Crystal Wing. And we have a Herald of the Arclight, which is, again, a negate of anything and a Floodgate on board. Obviously, with a full hand, we could have done a lot more because we could summon probably another rank 8 right here. And, yeah, we probably could have summoned a Hope Harbinger, and on top of that, that Hard Earth Dragon, and then this really would have been a difficult board to deal with. Or we could have summoned another Light Tuner and then gone into Spirit Dragon, for example. But yeah, this is the board off of 2 cards. I think it's pretty good. Lightning Rod, Floodgate, Negate, Negate, Negate. Pretty good off of 2 cards. Let's get to the next combo now. All right, this is the next combo. I'm going to show you how to do the combo. Again, I'm going to start it always the same way, Mausoleum and Sage. You don't have to do it off of Mausoleum and Sage. That last combo that I showed you, you could basically have done as long as you could get to the Needlefiber. This play, all you really have to do is just get to a Needlefiber and then have an additional monster. That's it. That's all you have to need for this play. You don't have to particularly have the Mausoleum of White and the Sage. You could just, as long as you can make a Needlefiber and have an extra monster, you can do this full combo. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to start off by activating Mausoleum of the White. We're going to normal summon Sage, and we're going to activate Sage to search a copy of Maiden, actually. And then we're going to use the extra normal summon of Mausoleum to summon our copy of Maiden. Now we're going to activate the effect of Mausoleum of White to target our Maiden to make it 800 more attack, but since it was targeted, we can use the effect of Maiden to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck. And now we can obviously send a Blue Eyes Dragon to the graveyard. This combo is actually kind of good if you have like Dragon's Mirror, because you already put 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons in the graveyard. So all you would need to do is put 1 more Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you can basically special summon Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon just very easily. So from here, we are going to go into the Crystron Needlefiber. You can link away any number of these monsters. It doesn't really matter. Yep, activate Crystron Needlefiber to special summon a copy of Stone of Ancients. And then, if I kept Blue Eyes on board, I actually could have used the Stone of Ancients and the Blue Eyes to just go into a Spirit Dragon if I wanted to. And then I would have a Crystron Needlefiber and a Spirit Dragon as Crystron Needlefiber as an interruption, and then the Spirit Dragon as its own interruption, because the Spirit Dragon basically negates a graveyard effect. Neither player can special summon 2 monsters simultaneously, and it can tag out into other monsters, so it's pretty good for that purpose. So now we're going to link both of these 2 away into a copy of Artifact Dagda, and it's easier to show you what's about to happen than tell you. So we're going to hit the end phase. We're going to activate the White Stone of Ancients to special summon the Abyss. Because we put the Blue Eyes in graveyard with the Mausoleum, we can activate both of its effects. So right off the bat, we can search a Ritual Spell or Polymerization, and then on top of that, we can use the end phase Abyss effect, since it's still on the board, to special summon a copy of to add a level 8 or higher dragon monster to our hand. So we can add the Chaos Emperor Dragon, which is good because it's basically a free summon as long as you have a light or a dark, and it can get you banished monsters back. We can add Alternative, because since we have Stone of Ancients in the graveyard and we have Blue Eyes in the graveyard, we can banish this to add back the Blue Eyes, and the next turn Alternative you could summon for free. We can add Chaos Dragon Levineer. You just have to banish 3 lights or darks or lights combination. But basically we have plenty of lights in the graveyard. We can just summon this, bring back a level 8, and then OTK the following turn. Spirit if you need to banish spawn trap cards, or Deep Eyes. This is actually an interesting one. If a Blue Eyes monster you control gets destroyed, you can special summon this from your hand and then target a dragon in your graveyard. This becomes the same as that dragon in terms of attack, and then on top of that you can inflict 600 to your opponent for every dragon you have in your graveyard, which we have quite a few at this point. And on top of that, if this card is destroyed, you can destroy all cards your opponent control, all monsters your opponent controls. So it's just an interesting, kind of like a hand trap that you can do just in case they out the Deep Eyes. So now we end our turn, we go to our opponent's turn, wait for them to do anything. Main phase 1, activate the Crystron Needlefiber. We're going to banish it in order to special summon a tuner from a tuner synchro monster from our extra deck, and then we're going to immediately chain the Dagda to set the Artifact Scythe from our deck. Now we're going to special summon the TG Wonder Magician from our extra deck, and it has an effect on summon to destroy a spell or trap card. We're going to destroy our own Scythe. Scythe is going to activate in graveyard to special summon it back. Since it was special summoned, our opponent cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. They are totally locked out of their extra deck. And now, if our opponent tries to like impermanence or target and destroy the scythe, we can activate the TG Wonder Magician to immediately synchro summon. And we have access to 3 level 10 synchro monsters. We have White Aura Bahamut. This card is 3300 attack and it has a quick effect to special summon a token, which is really cool because the token that it summons is also 3300 attack. So basically summons itself, which is 3300 attack, and then a token which is 3300 attack. It almost guarantees that you're going to OTK the following turn. You can summon Ruddy Rose Dragon. This card on summon banishes both graveyards, which sometimes sucks for you, but can actually be good against your opponent because you can banish, for example, if they're playing like Phantom Knights, you can banish their entire graveyard, which is very crucial because then they have no plays whatsoever. And on top of that, if your opponent activates a card that would destroy something, you can tribute this card and negate and destroy. And on top of that, this is the new card. This actually has not come out yet. It's Baroness de Fleur. This comes out later this year, but basically you can actually, this is probably the best option. It just hasn't fully come out yet. But this card basically is an Omni negate. Meaning you can negate a monster spell or trap. And on top of that, it has an effect to once per turn destroy a card, which is not a quick effect, but obviously the negate is a quick effect. And then on top of that, it lets you basically special summon any level 9 or lower monster from your graveyard by returning this from the field to the extra deck. So it has like 3 really, really good effects. But as of right now, since this card isn't legal yet and our opponent has nothing in the graveyard, usually the best one to summon is the White Aura. So you summon the White Aura, and then your opponent, does whatever they have to do. Obviously, they're locked out of the extra deck because of the other card. You summon another token. Your opponent ends, and you basically just go for game here. Like I said, if we decided to add the alternative here, we could have just activated the graveyard effect of Ancients, added back a Blue Eye, summon alternative, and now we basically have game on board here. Like it's a wrap. It really is, because these are each 3300. Our opponent didn't get to special summon anything from the extra deck, and Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is built around the extra deck, so we basically just win that duel outright. So that is combo number 2. Time to go to combo number 3. Alright guys, this is combo number 3. For this combo, you literally could draw 2 Sages, and it doesn't even matter. Sage is like super duper good. 2 Sages, Sage can search Effect Veiler, and the effect to normal summon, the normal summon search effect is actually not once per turn at all, so you can just double search Effect Veiler. So we're going to activate, for example, Mausoleum. I'm going to show you an alternative combo that you can do. We're going to normal summon Sage. We're going to add a copy of Effect Veiler, and then we're going to normal summon our other Sage to add another copy of Effect Veiler. So if, for example, we don't have like a crossout designator and our opponent Nibiru's us, it doesn't matter because we got the opportunity to search 2 copies of Effect Veiler, so our follow-up is going to be perfectly fine because we're going to be able to negate 2 of our opponent's effects, because obviously they're not going to be able to tribute. They don't tribute the cards in your hand, they just tribute the cards on the field, so it's all A-okay. Now we're going to activate the effect of Mausoleum. We're going to send a Blue Eyes because it's always good to send a Blue Eyes. And then we are going to link both of these 2 away into a Crystron Needlefiber. We're going to activate the Crystron Needlefiber to, again, summon the Deskbot 001. He's not even really a brick because you can summon him from the hand. So even if you draw him, it literally doesn't matter. Now we're going to link these 2 away to summon the Auradon. Summon all the monsters in defense mode, as always. And then we're going to special summon back the Deskbot 001. And then we are going to use the Deskbot 001 to special summon our first copy of Herald of the Arclight. You can actually just make 2 Herald of the Arclight. There's a lot of different things that you can do. We're going to activate the effect of Mecha Phantom Beast, Auradon, tribute these 2. In order to special summon our Coltwing. Coltwing's going to summon 2 tokens. And then we are going to use the Deskbot 001 to special summon itself. And now we have the 2 tokens and the Deskbot 001. We can actually just make another Herald of the Arclight if you wanted to, because then you have double floodgates. But usually the power tool is usually the better play, because then you can have access to Borreload Savage Dragon because he's a little bit bigger. But again, another Herald of the Arclight is good because then they have to get rid of 2 floodgates, so it's even tougher for them. So yeah, we're just going to make the power tool. Activate the power tool. I'm going to activate the Living Fossil to special summon back the Deskbot 001. You can summon the Sage since we have 2 in the graveyard. It doesn't even matter if it gets banished. Like I said, right here you can make Borreload Savage or Crystal Wing. But we're going to go with the Borreload Savage because he negates more things. But Crystal Wing absolutely destroys Dragoon, because Crystal Wing, he's just really good against Dragoon. We're going to activate Borreload Savage Dragon, yes. Add the Crystron Needlefiber as an equip card under the Borreload Savage Dragon, and now Borreload Savage Dragon is basically an Omni negate, and it can negate monster spells, traps, and it has 2 over the course of 2 turns. So that is basically the end board of that. We also could have we could have done a lot of different things, but that is the end board, and that's why I say it doesn't even matter if you draw 2 Sages, because this card is so good because it lets you spit out all of your light tuners onto the field, so it's super duper duper good. But basically our end board here is a Floodgate and an Omni negate. We have the Borreload Savage Dragon, another Omni negate, and then we have 2 copies of Effect Veiler in hand, so even if our opponent Nibiru'd us, we'd still have 2 interruptions. The only thing with this board that you have to keep in mind is any card that is sent to the graveyard from our hand or from the deck gets banished for either player. So you actually can't use Effect Veiler while this is on the field. But the positive thing about this card is that it tributes itself when it negates something. So that's actually a really positive thing, because it will tribute itself, get itself off the board, you negate something of your opponent's, and then your Effect Veilers are live again. So you just got to make sure the first thing that you negate is with the Herald of Arclight. That way your Effect Veilers are usable, because the Effect Veiler has to send itself to the graveyard for cost in order to activate. So that is kind of key that you understand that. But that is it. That is the 3rd combo. I'm only going to show 3. This is what the deck basically does. It either locks your opponent out of the extra deck, or it builds a couple of negates. This is what the entire sort of strategy is built around. I can show you 300 different ways to do the same thing over and over. You can literally have, for example, you can start this entire combo with a copy of Living Fossil and a copy of Sage, and you can do this entire combo. Yeah, you could do literally this entire combo with just a Living Fossil and a Sage. Just normal summon Sage, search for an Effect Veiler, link it away into a Linkuriboh, summon it back with Living Fossil, go into Needlefiber, and you can basically do this entire combo and more, or a variety of other combos. There's like a million ways to do this. As long as you can get to a Needlefiber, you can get to an Auradon, and you can get to this full board. So this deck is actually surprisingly extremely consistent. Also, in addition to that, Nessie came not off the ban list, but it went to 2, so it's even more consistent. But expect a deck profile to drop sometime later this week, and if you enjoyed this video, definitely like it, because obviously it's taken me quite a bit of work to get over the hurdle of losing Guard Dragon LP and to build some other combos to play with. But again, thank you for watching, and have a terrific day, guys. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy this type of content, check out the other videos on the channel, and please subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. Again, thank you so much. Have a terrific day.